So do you have any other pets besides Pluto? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in this great afternoon. Today, we have a great exhibition match between the University of Illinois of Chicago and Drexel University. My name is Michael Hansen, and today I am joined by Hunter Onge.
And today is going to be a great matchup. Two universities and equal playing grounds and equal abilities going to be going head to head in a best of five series. We got several maps coming up for you, great. And honestly, it's going to be such a good, fun matchup. And it's all going to be based around Optimal from Drexel University. He went pro or attempted to go pro early in his career or later on in his career. Didn't get there, sadly enough, but now he's back at Drexel, and it's going to be a fun sight to see as he comes into the damage position.
That's right. And before we jump into this today, I would like to say this exhibition match is brought to you by Champria, a scrimmage automation and team recruitment website. If you're tired of making hours to set up scrimmages and find the right players for your roster, let Champria do the hard work for you. But back to everything that we have here today, these, as you mentioned, Optimal is going to be, a key force on that DPS role. He loves that, flex DPS role, and he's going to be raining down just terror everywhere. That's going to be an interesting matchup to see. And how do you think that, they're going to respond to that?
I feel like they're going to have to do a lot of more shield blocking for this game in order to counteract the DPS, especially if they're going to have a lot of support coming on their back end. It's going to be very hard to kind of push whenever UIC is going to be on the offense. And whenever they're going for it and trying to push a payload down or trying to attack a point, they're going to have to focus strongly on diving hard with their tanks and then having that support right there with them in order to hold the ground and make a strong push, especially against that very strong Drexel DPS.
I completely agreed. Honestly, I can't wait for this matchup between Phoenix and Optimal Shot here. You know, we have Phoenix who is now at 3.8k on their SR against Optimal, who has just been raining down. Uh, Phoenix is going to be on that off tank role today, and if we want anything to be determined in these fights, it's going to be Phoenix and Optimal, going head to head, going toe for toe, tit for tat, just against each other. It should be a fun one to watch. No matter where you go, there's going to just be action around.
And that's very true. And you can't have the DPS or you can't have a tank without your support, especially with Drexel having Zumi and Nasty coming in. They're averaging a lot of healing, around 3,000 to 5,000 healing for both of them. And it gets even better whenever you're going against a UIC team with their damage averaging with Mercy, Leave Me Alone, is going 11,000 healing. And that's just on their own. And that's one player, one Mercy, 11,000 healing against a damaged opponent like Optimal. It's going to be a very fun sight to see, especially when it gets down into the nitty gritty.
I completely agree with that. And today we are going to be going to Oasis first. And how do you feel about Oasis, and how do you feel about the map control here, and just the advantages and disadvantages of this map?
Optimal or Oasis is a great map. Honestly, if we're doing capture the point type thing, you got to be able to hold that center, and you've got that little bit of cover right in the center of the map. And there's a lot going on the outside. Phoenix is one of the best wrecking balls in the game up to this point. He's currently ranked 669th in the world as wrecking ball. And with that, you're going to be able to spin around that center point, being able to knock opponents back, especially if they get a little bit too close. You got plenty of high places to swing from. Plus, having the support with Mercy, you're going to be able to follow him around a little bit more, especially if you also get a Lucio in there or a Mora, being able to throw an orb or just keep that surrounding healing going for the entire team, especially since Wrecking Ball is such like a dive character. It's going to be able to get in there, especially get out in front, maybe hit them, drop on top of them a little early before they're able to get to the point, get the team up there, and be able to back them up and get straight up to the front, as you're seeing here, being able to get all the way in there.
Of course, and our first map is going to be on University, and let's see how they come out today. If you could see a little bit of brawl, they absolutely love Brig coming out on the Drexel side. We got a Lucio already out here. We're going to see some quick engagements and quick disengagements. What do you expect to see with these type of comps right here?
Well, especially with these types of comms, I'm seeing Reaper, Lucio, May, and honestly, like just with those three people right there, Reaper is going to be doing a lot of damage, and he's going to be going for the tanks. And if you don't see Reaper going for the tanks, that means he's got to be backing off, getting some healing, as we already get started into this first match, as Lucio's bringing him straight up to the front.
And here they go, right into the right side, and the May's looking to get some isolation here as they push in quickly. The Rhines are dueling it out, trying to establish themselves first. We already see the I-field coming out early to save that Reinhardt. This is going to be a big part coming up later. and the May wall comes out again as the Rhine's being antied. We are seeing pressure coming from everywhere, and the first player to go down is Beru. This is going to be absolutely drastic as we see the cleanup coming in. Greed's absolutely cleaning up there as we see them finishing up with a 3K there.
It's honestly, that was a strong push by Illinois, being able to get in there and dominate that point and be able to secure the objective and get a very strong takedown of Beru.
And we got the window coming out from Baptiste. And we're going to see a little bit of, just a little bit of hesitation coming in, because you did not want to be stunned like that. As the Reinhardt starts to push up, Ifield out again, and they're working on cleaning up this second fight in a quick way possible. As the Lucio's going behind, trying to make a play, but I don't think that's going to be enough. As they get their resets going, this same fight may already be over.
It's really good to see like the amount of pressure that Illinois is being able to hold out Drexel there in the back. Reinhardt for Drexel got his ult very, very quickly, but still not able to use it, not being able to set up a way just to get inside and being able to press hard enough, even though he's dropping into the point at the moment, getting it contested.
And you see, I may have spoken too soon there, because we see a quick overtake, a quick, gather up, and, they were able to just push in heavily and hard. As we just see, all of them coming out guns blazing and just, countering really well here. Greeds does have his ultimate here, and this is going to be an interesting way that he's going to be using it. As Walgarid, has his ultimate, we see Hammer comes down and the beat response, and we just see all of them pouring out here into the middle. Phoenix is a huge one to go down with their Reinhardt here. And as we're cleaning up here, Reinhardt has been nanoed. Pushing up, he's being stalled out here. And we're going to see if, Walgarid is able to push up here. Actually gets separated and pinned down. This is anyone's here as we see Greeds come out and does not find the mark. Pushing back in. They're trying to reestablish themselves onto the point. Deadly May pushing up and just cleaning up. That is what they needed right there, and they needed that quick response, and they get a little bit of a delay on May there.
And it's very good defense over by Drexel and Illinois. They're both going back and forth here. They already had a quick change of pace and a change of objective capture. As you can see over on the Illinois side, they've got 3 of their 6 players already ready for an ult. Zarya's ult being able to hold them in one spot and just get them all pinned down, and having a Reaper go in, and Lucio's still there to hold them out and keep them healed up as
and a great counter by Beru there, trying to just absolutely take out everything that was brought on by Mukpu. And we just see everyone cleaning up here as they try to overtake with 98%, but they will not get that touch as Walgarid gets called off by Phoenix right at the end there.
Notice at the end there, McCree was getting around the corner and just did not have that last roll in order to hit it as they hit the 99% mark. So University of Illinois is going to take that one. And for that one, Phoenix is the very big tank, being able to hold it in there and trying and just holding down the ground, not letting Optimal get a big shot and not letting him get in there and try and make a play.
And here we see Phoenix going to his coveted ball, but we already see Beru, before the match even starts, immediately going to a CC with that. We have 2 CCs on ball here with Beru and Skyraider going Brig and Hog. This is going to be an interesting play here to see how Phoenix responds to 2 Suns here.
You needed a doctor?
And it's always good to see the Mercy coming out all hard, power boosting on the Sigma, and already out the gate, looks like Echo's already been taken out.
Optimal shot with just a devastating blow to Greeds, and a pocketed body shot is going to help them clear this up, as Walgair is going to just pile drive his way through. And a quick response by Drexel University to come on top very quickly here.
And I think a big part has to do with that Hammy being able to be so versatile and get around the map so quickly, being able to hold that center point. And especially now he's got 2 walls that he can cover, and he'll be able to swing up and pile drive down as well as that Farah over top McCree, Brigette, Mercy, just the entire squad there. Not a shield, but it's still a very strong play.
We spent so much time talking about Phoenix's, wrecking ball that we didn't really have enough time to talk about Wolgar's wrecking ball as he comes out with another one. But it will not matter here, even with that first pick, as Spark Rush just comes in, guns blazing, gunning down person after person, getting a 4K and an assist on a 5th. This is unbelievable here as he just single-handedly helps take over this entire team fight.
And you said it no better than I could there, just absolutely dominating in order to capture that point and get Drexel backed into a corner there.
And you see, we already have the quick regain here. Spark Rush already has Transcendence, which is going to be one of the most powerful ults in this entire fight. It's going to be interesting to see how he pulls it up here, as we see Optimal Shot going into the backline and immediately taking him out. Unfortunately, they trade for there, and now everyone is just popping everything as they just try to establish the high ground, and they just try establishing the control of the point. We see Greeds grab onto the Hog and get that pick and go for the body block to save the rest of the team. What a smart play as they get their life back. They try cleaning up on Wolgard and does get the cleanup. Now it's going to be a cleanup game before the rest of the team, as Diva Bomb isn't able to find anyone here. Optimal Shot going down by Mucky Poo, and it seems like the UIC is going to hold on here.
And that was just a good back and forth regular gameplay that you love to see. A bunch of ults came out there. McCree tried to get in there, and he had a shot on the Mercy, but he wanted a little bit more than that. Reinhardt was able to get in the way and just be able to block it, which wasn't really good for Drexel. But now they've got to reset and get back to it.
Here we see the Sky Raider with the early rally as they try pushing in hard here. They don't want this going up any farther, and they already find the pick on Beru. Phoenix coming out with a kill on Sky Raider, and this one seems like, even though it was flipped, that this is all UIC. They do get the reds off on Sky Raider. We're going to see how this plays out, as now, we see Optimal Shot coming in, finishing up their brig. This is a very back and forth here, but Phoenix, as his coveted Wrecking Ball, getting another 2 picks. And they are going to run away with this point, being able to flip this if they can just finish up that Hog. A 3-on-1 here, as Tracer comes in to make it a 3-on-2. And Phoenix, we got that last, they're coming in. Deadly Moo finishing up on Wolgard, but it's stalled just enough time to give the rest of the team some more time to stall, and this is as big as it can be, because as soon as that flips, that's going to put more pressure on UIC to come back as soon as possible. And we see the Mercy not able to contest there, going up top, and it seems like UIC, if they can just hold them back with a prime pick on Optimal Shot, Mucky Poo absolutely running wild on this round, getting pick after pick. And Phoenix playing the stalling game, trying to get anyone out there, trying to get one last pick coming in. But here comes all the ultimates. They're all raining down at once. Diva Bomb not able to find anyone. Greed's trying to get that whole Hog, gets it off, trying to just throw them off the point here. But that Wrecking Ball, it just does not want to go away. Wolgar is just trying his best to stay on, trying to find a pick, and they find it on Jazzwing as soon as they ulted. And here we go. This is, Drexel's opportunity to pull here. They were able to win that fight, and with 84%, they're going to have a good amount of time to push up here and stall this out and try not getting a touch here.
And the biggest play here right now is being able to get UIC's Diva and Wrecking Ball onto that point and being able to secure it, being able to put a little bit more pressure on the damage and more of the squishy players, especially put pressure on that Mercy, because that's the big healer. That's the one. It's individual, but it's still going to be a very, very big person that you're going to want to try and take out, especially as it gets really deep into overtime.
Definitely, as we see Wolgar pulling out that ult, but it seems like UIC is just trying to clean up now. They get the res off on Wolgar. Having 2 tanks up here is going to be prime. But can they hang on here? Greeds is saying otherwise, showing how he can be versatile as Echo. And Spark Rush finding another pick on the Mercy. that is probably going to be the changing point of this fight, and Greaves comes in with the cleanup on optimal shot as just Tracer's trying to stall this out for their Lucio to come back. With Bulgarian able to pick off Jazzwing with their ult, they're going to have a little bit of time here as they get their D.Va to touch here. And they have Lucio in prime position on that healing buff, trying to keep their D.Va up, but D.Va goes down quickly. Just those two there. But here we go with another Vulgar touch. And with Greeds copying it, we're going to see if Greeds can build up an ult and get that stall off. Vulgar trying their best here as D.Va Bomb comes out to play and won't be able to find anyone. Actually, they find Mucky Poo, but Deadly Emo comes in with their ult as well, finding a pick on Vulgar. Phoenix trying to throw them off the point at this time, just spinning around, finds a pick on Nasty. They're only down to one healer. They are down to no healers. They find another pick on Sky Raider. This is a very back and forth game as Vulgar finds the picks on Greed, but it doesn't seem like it could be enough. I speak too soon. Once again, Vulgar finds an ultimate here. They do have life still, but it seems like UIC is just trying to clean up on Vulgar. If Vulgar can just stay up here, they do get another touch. Both healers are back now. It is a 2-on-6, but if they can stall it off long enough, Tracer's also back now. They are trying everything that they can to keep this going. Sky Raider goes down. There's no healers on point, and that's going to be the end of it there. A great effort by Drexel trying to stall that one out, but UIC comes up on top once again as we see on a 2-0.
And that was just great overall play there. Obviously, you got into a little bit of a panic situation for Drexel as they were trying to contest that point and keep someone on the touch. They had to keep running that hammy or that wrecking ball back into the point. D.Va kept coming. Lucio was coming. Brigitte and Mercy were trying to still get a tap going in. And I mean, Nasty is averaging for Mercy for a lifetime 4.78 resurrections a game. And right there, got 2 off in the middle of all that chaos. And that just shows how good of a healer Nasty actually is. And Walgar was still trying to get in there. And Phoenix for UIC was just too much to handle. And just their absolute domination of that point, being able to hold it on as their own, having more than just 1 or 2 of their teammates on there, having 3 or 4, even 5 at a time, being able to hold it down. Mucky Poo being in there, coming in clutch to hold it down as well. Drexel just couldn't really keep up at that point.
Let's just take a moment to just talk about Sparky on that point. Just absolutely dominant, coming in as Zenyatta and immediately just running the floor, putting Drexel into a, just a devastating position, going down 1-0 early. Sparky with the play of the game there too. Just as you could see, that tracking just phenomenal as they find a 4-piece to absolutely take control of that point.
And that was exactly what they needed to do. If they really wanted to come out headstrong and be able to put the pound down on Drexel, that's exactly what they needed to do. And that's exactly what they did. And they just came out strong, came out hard and fast, and were able to take out a couple key players at the beginning, especially going straight for Optimal. And especially because knowing him and knowing how he works and how he plays and how he's at a professional level in himself, being able to take that element out of the game was very, very crucial for UIC to get this first round victory.
Definitely. And we had spent so much time talking about Phoenix and Optimal going into this match that we didn't really talk about Mucky. Mucky just going in and just terrorizing as Tracer, just finding pick after pick, pulse bomb after pulse bomb. That ability to just get all of that ult charge so quickly, just devastating and changing each team fight. And I don't think that they've missed a pulse bomb yet. I think they've maybe missed only 1 or 2, but those picks have been just changing the game. As Mucky, my bad, has just been absolutely terrorizing their squishies.
And just Tracer's abilities themselves, being able to move around very quickly, get around the big tank that can't turn as quickly, and being able to put 60 rounds right into their back and be able to drop their HP very, very low. And then having someone else come in for the cleanup, such as Phoenix, Greeds, or Leave Me Alone, Jazz, anybody coming in for just that cleanup, and being able to put the final blow on them to take them out for another 10 seconds. And then being that tracer and just Mucky being able to move around, regenerate some health, and just being able to keep pushing and hold that point. Tracer is very good, along with Lucio, at being able to move around the map, being able to control kind of where people are at, know where they're at, and then being able to execute and put people down whenever is needed.
As they move to Rialto, what do you think the response by Drexel is going to be here? They had quite a few problems going on by UIC, just terrorizing them on different fronts. What do you think their main problem is going to be, and what do you think they're going to look to address first?
I think Drexel's first problem that they're going to need to address is going to be being able to take out and get a harder push up front. As you saw there in the first round, UIC was very, very strong out the gate, pushing very hard, and was able to take out a few key players early. If Drexel can flip the script and do the same thing back to them, it'll be a very, very different payload on this one.
I completely agree. And as we see both Zenyatas, we have 2 Zenyatas on each team, by Spark Rush once again, and Sky Raider. And, you know, their UIC here is running a Spark Rush and Brig combo, while, you know, Sky Raider and Nasty, they're running a nice Zenyatta and Mercy.
And it's going to be these different types of healer combos. I figured out myself that a Mercy Lucio combo can fit very well if you want to stay compact and push together. But it's going to be very fun to see, especially a Brigitte and Zenyatta combo, seeing where the damage is going to lie with this.
And as we see right out of the gate, we see a nice Pharmacy trying to get, you know, optimal shot built up, and he's already at 34% charge as, you know, the pocket comes back onto him, trying to terrorize this back line and trying to find that early pick. We see Phoenix falling off the map. I didn't really see what had happened there, but this is going to be a great push for Drexel as they are up 1 and look to be in control of this point. They are going to just try farming up their ult charge here as Mucky Poo comes in and finds the pick on Ash, but Optimal coming back over the middle and just trying to tear up their squishies here through the middle as Volgair is able to get these finishing blows on them. Optimal already with the ultimate, pushing them back, and that's going to be the first point.
And that's exactly what I was saying. Drexel needed that very hard push out the gate, and that's exactly what they got. They got Phoenix right off the edge, probably from a Pharah blast bomb to poke him there off the edge and not being able to get back. And that's what started the drive and started the momentum to get them going. And already they're getting another quarter of the way to the second point.
It's going to be interesting to see Optimal here. He's staying on that far, looking for more picks with the pocket, as the rest of the team is fighting on the high ground here, and they already find the pick on Greeds. This is going to be a big one coming in, as Farah has that, you know, ability, not Farah, Echo has that ability to just absolutely melt people, even through the pocket if they get them below half health. This is going to be terrorizing as they keep pushing forward. We see the pocket coming off, just trying to get the rest of the team up. As the payload starts to stall out here, this is more of the poke phase, as we see, you know, each other trying to feel each other out, trying to build up their ultimates here. Wolgar is trying to push the payload as far as he can, but he's met by the wall of the other team. Wolgar is trying to establish himself, and he lands the shatter, but isn't able to get too much, as Ultimate Shot uses his ultimate into a Transcendence. But we see UIC capitalizing on this and getting a nice Sigma ult, but it won't be enough, as Drexel just punishing them right here as they just keep rolling here.
On that one, it was UIC just not being able to connect with their ults all the way around. Drexel got that one hammer down from Wygar, and that was able to do enough damage to push him back. Obviously not in return favor for UIC. So now they're backed up against the ropes and on their heels, and they need to have something come out quick if they want to get back in this and stall them out.
One thing that we have not mentioned here yet is how quickly Optimal is building their ultimate, as they already have another ultimate. Mucky's looking to find someone in the middle, but won't seem to find anyone. As we see Optimal already 3% away from their ultimate. As they come back in, this is going to be interesting to see as Bob comes out to play, and he's trying to push them back as well. We see Reinhardt going up on the sign, trying to challenge them, but Phoenix is having nothing of that, pushing back Wolgar, and it seems like UIC may be able to take this fight and get some control of all this chaos.
And right as you said that, Drexel lost a tank and a damage, and Walgard, and both of them had to come out. The tank Walgard has their ult already, and being able to push up and get there quickly is going to be good. There's still plenty of time on this clock at the moment with how quickly they were able to push it close to the 3rd point. Now they just got to recapture it.
Wolgar absolutely coming up with the finish with optimal shots, absolutely beautifully placed. Just a barrage. As they just keep moving forward, they're going to just walk this payload in. There's only one person able to touch here, and I'm not sure if they're going to have enough time. D.Va's coming around the corner, but if they're able to get that stall out, but Deadly does get the touch, as UIC is trying to just stall this as much as they can, but it's going to be to no avail. With 3:33 on the clock, this is the response that we were looking for from Drexel. Do not count them out just quite yet, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's exactly the type of return you wanted to see from Drexel. You wanted to see them come out very fast-paced and very hard. And the way that UIC set back a little bit, they had the 2 buildings on the side. They were not able to capitalize on that and be able to use that leverage. And they just got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and off the edge. And it just allowed too much time for Drexel to be able to push them and keep pushing with minimal casualties. At the very end there, UIC almost got a full team kill and was completely wiped out and was just able to let Drexel walk that payload right into where it needed to go. Now it's got to flip the script. UIC has got to come out into this next round and just punch Drexel in the mouth and do exactly what they did to them and flip the script.
Agreed. UIC's response here is going to be how, the rest of the series can go. We got an absolute punch in the mouth by Drexel here. And after it was just all UIC on that first point, on that first map, it was just all UIC. With Drexel just coming out swinging, they were playing a very bend, don't break type of game there, as a lot of them were not hesitating, they were, getting back down to like very low health, but they still challenged them at every opportunity.
And I feel like that had to lean on the back of Optimal as Farah, being able to get over top of them and just put as much damage down from up top, where you don't see it as much coming from up top as you do directly in front of you.
And speaking of Optimal on that Farah, right away they go right back to that damage boosted Farah, as they want to see that response first before they make any changes. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And Optimal finding that pick on Spark Rush, and as their main healer down here, this is going to be a very passive team by UIC here, as they only have Lucio heals. They have to play together, and they have to play around his healing boost. Optimal is just going to take advantage of the situation of how they are trapped, waiting for that Baptiste to come back. As he comes back, we already see Optimal at 71%. They are just building really quickly here. And not just that, the rest of the team is able to get their shots in too, as Optimal comes in with a nice 2K on Spark Rush and Mucky, and this is going to be a nice team win by Drexel here.
And this is exactly what Drexel needed. I feel like they had a good little team meeting there after that first round, and just was able to come in, collect themselves, say, hey, that wasn't a good first round, but you know what, we're going to come out and we're going to do a lot better this next round. And that's exactly what they're doing.
And that's what you expect from these two type of teams that have been in these situations before, both competing in the Overwatch Collegiate Series. You don't get very often that if they lose one series, they're not out. As we see already the fight re-engaging here, Wolgar and Phoenix going head-to-head, and Wolgar not going to be able to get their shatter off, and this is going to be UIC going all in here, as they look to finish up Optimal. But Optimal's pocket was a little too strong there. We're going to see Nasty a little bit behind, and they're going to be able to clean up on Nasty with the punch. With UIC responding very well to the last two fights and being able to break through on this third one.
And just like that, it's very, very obvious that these two teams can go back and forth all day and have very little to really go against at times. Obviously, you're
We
going to have a lot of fun in different places as Fair takes their ult right there, Optimal going all out.
I this is an all-out investment by everyone, as everyone is using their ults except for Lucio and Greeds here, because they don't seem to need it, as they are able to push that point off. We had seen a great counter from that Grav with Sky Raider, and then just after that, ultimates were pouring in as Drexel looks to get a reset here.
And just like that, it's going to be able to be a hard-fought fight to the very end. UIC isn't going to have as much time as Drexel did to get down there to the very end after the second point is captured, but it's still going to be a fun fight to watch nonetheless.
It seems like Wolgar here is looking to engage on the uppers, but just trying to feel it out to start it. As, you know, the entire team is there. They're going to leave the payload and actually just fight on top of here and try getting this team win. As we see the Leave Me Alone going back to grab that payload, Phoenix is able to pick up that second kill on Wolgar. And this is where it's going to come in. But here we go on an optimal flank. On the hit scan, there's not really anyone here to really contest Optimal now, as they're going to be able to rain down and just get as much damage off as they can. Baptiste, the only other suitable hit scan here, and Spark is going to find the pick on Optimal. As we see Greeds coming in off of that Grav and being able to push this next point. They may not have as much time as Drexel, but the main thing here is just going to be able to get it to the end with some time, so they can set up what their style of play instead of just having to sit on the payload this entire time going into overtime.
You're very right. And right there, as they got to that point and they're being able to push towards that past that second point, it was Spark's ultimate that was able to get a double kill there, 2K, and be able to push Drexel back into a more of a defensive position for UIC to get a big kill.
We are seeing everything come out once again in just pure desperation to save this point, as Mucky's going to be able to find a kill through the Transcendence. This is going to be able to push UIC even farther. But Wolgar comes in with the three-man shatter, trying to stall this out. They're able to find one, and then Deadly Emu comes in to take them out. As UIC is still able to advance this payload, they're getting a quick reset here with 5 players up. And here we can see it's coming back and forth, tit for tat once again. As we said, this can be both teams just trying to save this point and trying to push it. It's when a rock meets a hard place, it's just going to keep on going. As Phoenix is looking to engage to try building up their ultimate a little bit more, Optimal's trying to find some poke damage to build up one more time. We see Bob and Mercy's ult on Nasty's side of thing as Nasty pops their ult. It's going to be interesting to see when Bob comes out, as Ash is just sitting in the back right now, trying to, as a last desperation to save that point. But we also see Emu and Spark Rush as Emu pulls out their ult, and just the combination, just trying to invest here. And they are going to get 3 here. Bob trying to stop that point, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to stop it. But it gives Nasty a window to revive Optimal. As Optimal is just trying to do anything with 96%. Can't get the ults finished as Greeds pushes up, trying to... Emu, though, that finishes up the Mercy. And with Transcendence out, they're not going to have too much healing. As we just see Absolute Terror coming in, they're going to need to find a pick here. As ultimates are coming flying left and right, not able to find anyone with it, with the high noon, but they're going to just be able to stall them out, push them back, and be able to cap that point.
And that was just an overall great offensive play by UIC, putting it into a round 3 and not being able to let Drexel get as much as time for them as they really wanted. 1:33 for UIC, around 3.5 minutes for Drexel. And at this point, UIC's got to come out with a very much stronger defense, especially out the gate before getting to that first point. That first point might be the easiest, but it's also going to be the hardest to hold up right in between those two buildings. And they just got to have a lot more upper damage, I would say, because Phoenix, Optimal is just coming in with that fair shots and over the top and just putting on so much damage. And UIC really needs an answer for that, and they really haven't found one yet.
They've been able to get some answers, but not to the extent that they're looking for. As Mucky is going with the Ash pick, trying to absolutely gun this down with Greeds, as Optimal is probably going to settle with that pocket off this first point again. This is where we've seen Optimal just absolutely terrorizing on attack, on defense. It was this first point that they got the most damage off and where they were the most dangerous. In these tight corridors where there's not a lot of room to avoid these rockets, this is where they're going to be the most deadliest.
And that's exactly right. And even with Phoenix and Emu trying to get in there and hold the point and hold and dive in there as tanks, they're going to have to play a little bit more conservatively if they want to push Drexel back and hold them as long as they can with this 3-minute period.
And one of the picks here that I really like is the Volker pick on Orisa. With her new buffs, she does not take any more headshot damage. And with 150 bullets, she can absolutely dish out damage. Orisa is one of the meteor tanks in this game at 450 health. And this is going to be really good for stalling here. As the Fortify comes out and not able to take the headshot damage, just trying to stall out this point. As we see Optimal and the rest of the team just trying to farm up their ultimates, trying to win that fight. And Optimal finds the pick on Greeds once again. And here we go of Optimal using that rocket jump to get around the corner and just trying to find more people. As Wolf Garrett answers to their Optimal's kill, they find another one. Optimal finding another kill as 3 of them go down. And Mercy's going to get the res off here. And this is just going to be UIC being stalled out here. UIC really needs to pull something together here as Spark Rush's ultimate comes out here. As the double shield going to be able to protect it a little bit. But here comes Optimal shots in the backline again. Optimal just raining down from everywhere today. As all the ultimates coming out trying to stall this as much as they can. Bob not in the most optimal spot, but he's going to be able to get some damage off here as the rest of the team is engaging. Wolgar on Phoenix, and Deadly Emu is able to find a pick on the Baptiste with an immediate res on the Baptiste. Greed's trying to finish up anyone as they can in there, but there will get 2 picks in there from Spark Rush and Phoenix, and Optimal goes down from a great shot by a Spark Rush here. And they seem to be able to get this first point. We're going to see a little bit of separation coming in as people are going to be at different spawns here. As Echo is all the way back by themselves.
Let's keep it going.
I think Echo is being kind of used a little bit less here than she really needs to be. With all those bombs that she can be raining down, one headshot with one of those bombs is going to be a very, very big thing against Orisa and Sigma on Drexel.
With this going into overtime, they cannot leave the point now. As Greeds and Optimal both on the Echo. And oh no! They just walked off the point! An unfortunate turn of events from a UIC team that seemed to be in control of the situation.
And just like that, you can see how quick the tides may turn. Communication was probably lacking at that point. Not being able to know who was on point, who was where. And especially if you want a healer that needs to go out with a tank, they'll both drop off that point, and with it being so late into the overtime, there's no time to react, and thus only allowing a total of 4 points. And now Drexel has to come out on offense and get to the point plus past where they're going to be and where UIC stopped. And at this point, UIC needs to come out with the strongest defense they've had all day, or they're not going to be able to survive this round.
I completely agree with that. With not many opportunities to stop where they have been, especially with the shortened distance on that second point, I mean, they're not going to have too many team fights to really take on and lose. They're going to need to win as many team fights as they can on this first point, as we see Phoenix coming out with the Reinhardt. And going back to that last sequence of events, it was quite unfortunate because it looked like Sparky had went to go heal one of their teammates and had just overextended too far, and that deep into overtime, it goes in an instant. And, you know, it's bad now, but they have to just be able to recoup and refocus on this next point.
And right here, they've already got a better setup, in my opinion, to hold Drexel instead of letting them get halfway to the first point.
I agree. They're going to need to be as aggressive here as possible, as we see Optimal just going for a backline assault again. But we see Greed's trying to push them away, as they seem to be focusing more on Optimal, but Optimal able to get that last shot on Phoenix. And Greeds finds the kill on Nasty, and the perma pocket is now gone. But Drexel has just been absolutely controlling this fight and able to keep pushing UIC back. They're going to be able to push one more time before this payload touches that first rest stop. But they're going to need a quick regroup here as they're pushing in relatively quickly.
And just like that, Drexel's going to take that first point, and they don't have very far to go, just around the corner. And UIC seems to be kind of backing off here, and it's not the best choice for them.
UIC has elected to go with the full regroup instead of trying to stall out for time. But with 2 minutes and 23 seconds on the clock, they won't really have an opportunity to get a good touch here. They need to find someone as Optimal just goes down on Phoenix just to make sure that this could be solidified. But we get the res off, but the damage has been done as the Mercy couldn't be on the healing. So, a great overall turn of events for Drexel, able to tie up the series 1-1 here.
And that's the type of play that we love to see here. And that's just going to be a back and forth. If it's already 1-1, it's going to keep going back and forth. We're probably going to see a game in round 5 here between UIC and Drexel. And it's all come down from this play of the game, this individual Optimal being able to just get over top of the defense, over top of UIC, throw down as many bombs as possible, some blast bombs as well, and then obviously raining down freedom and whatnot, and just being able to hold the ground and be able to push forward. And that's the type of thing that Drexel needs, and UIC needs to come out into the third round the way they did in round 1.
I completely agree. That was a great response that we just saw by Drexel there, as Optimal just raining down from shot after shot, connecting on the actual bodies of the players to get that extra damage off instead of just the splash damage. And going into this third point, this third map here, this is where it becomes very interesting, as you know, it's going to be a fight for the lead once again, and this is basically a whole new game of a best of 3.
And now back to 1-1. You are exactly correct. A best of 3 series, and it's going to come down to whether both the teams can be able to hold up their defenses longer than the others. Drexel was able to hold their defense against UIC's offensive push a lot longer than it was for UIC on the defensive side. And if it's going to be another payload set, it's going to be exactly that. But if we're going to go back into a capture the point situation, UIC had it down in round 1.
As we saw after these first 2 games, we are now moving to Hanamura. Which team do you think has the advantage here going into Hanamura after these first 2 games?
Into this one, it's going to be whoever's going to get to the point point to start. If you can get a good, strong start on it, it's going to be yours for the taking, and they're going to have to come to you, and it's just going to be a big defensive battle. You're going to want to have tanks that have shields on this one, maybe have Wrecking Ball go in and be able to knock them around a little bit. Tracer is also going to be a very good, strong player onto this. Spark Rush being as Tracer is going to be a good thing for this UIC team going into this map.
We see a lot of characters that both teams have been playing have a lot of strengths on this map. Wrecking Ball, Tracer, and Echo. We've seen McCree have this is a good map for McCree. There's a lot of benefits for all these players, with who they've been choosing. And this is going to be an interesting hold in defense to really come out in Hanamura, as we see Wolgarid electing to go with Junkrat right out of the gate. This is a pick that we have not seen yet.
And Junkrat with his bombs, he's going to be able to go a little bit farther with distance, as well as the mines that he's able to throw out and explode. Those with such high damage. It's going to be kind of hard to go up against without other shields because of the splash damage as well. You just can't really tell except when it's right there next to you, especially when he gets his rip tire and it's ready to roll. It's going to be a very big splash, especially if it hops over around head height for that big headshot, able to clear out an area very quickly.
And Optimal electing for that Pharah on attack once again, as we see Greeds looking for an early pick here, sitting in their back line with Phoenix. It's going to be an interesting start, as Wolgarid does not get the jump that they want onto the point, but they are going to make it, as Greeds and Phoenix are now on their way back. we are going to see Junkrat being able to set up here and be able to start reining in his terror. As Ana already gets a great start for... that is my bad. Ana is now rotating around, trying to get, to that optimal position for the attacking position. As we just see Phoenix coming around, just bopping everyone around. Not getting the crash that they wanted, but able to just, push back this attack. And now they are all separated as we see just the absolute cleanup by UIC. And this is a response that we needed to see after game 2.
And I feel like here they're not putting enough pressure onto that point. They're trying to take out optimal for Drexel, and it's going in their favor, but there's no one sitting on that point getting it captured so that it can secure that first point and get pressure.
This is going to be an interesting push here as Beru tries to push up the rest of the team, as Pharmacy is still behind and Soldier coming out to help them. As Optimal finds that first pick, and now you see Drexel is going to be able to push up on this. But we see a nice stall out by Phoenix in the mid, just trying to keep both of the, the healing and tanks back off. As we hear another ultimate coming out, not able to connect like it has been, and shut down by Deadly Emu. And UIC looking to save this once again, but they're able to get a tick here. Phoenix coming in with the late ultimate here, and able to find the pick on Skyrider with Greeds. As Wolgaard finds their own answer with Spark Rush, we see Drexel just trying to clean up everyone and take this point. And it seems like that's what's going to happen as Beru finds the pick on Greeds, and it seems like that is going to be this first point.
And a great overall push by Drexel being able to get there, hold the point. It was Phoenix that was floating around up top trying to take away a little bit more of a distraction for UIC. UIC was getting more distracted by Optimal floating around in the air.
And as we see, they're electing to go for the high ground here, just trying to push through that one room, as Wolgaard is coming in with his ultimate, trying to find a good angle on it. But I don't think that they realize that they're being backcapped as they find their first tick. And here comes the ultimates here. This is going to be the outpour, because this is where we're going to see the make or break of this round. As they're just coming in, guns blazing, pick after pick. We're going to see the answer by Wolgaard trying to finish up everyone with the visor. With High Noon not able to get anyone in their sights fast enough, as Phoenix being the last one, not able to really compete there. As Deadly Emu trying to hold on as much as he can, gets pushed off, and that's going to be another great push by Drexel to finish them with above 330 again.
It really seems like Drexel just had a bit of a warm-up round and wasn't able to get really good communication and get connected quite well out of the gate in round 1. Obviously, they got it all the way around in round 2, being able to get a very, very quick start and push on that payload. Here, capturing both of the points in a very quick fashion. Phoenix doing a great job staying over top, kind of keeping the distraction. Deadly Emu there at the end tried to switch it up to D.Va in order to get a quick touch in there, not letting it, or trying to get it as far as possible with giving Drexel less time. And all around, that was just Drexel just being a good team, having good communication and pushing really hard, even whenever getting set back and having to kind of regroup after the first battle.
And it seemed like UIC really had a strong stand there, winning the first 2 team fights, and then Drexel regrouped and actually started with a stagger on their own with Nasty and Optimal in the backline, and Wolgaard coming in the back to help out clear out the backline and just pushing up forward. It really seemed like a full UIC hold there, and then Drexel just came in and just completely reversed it. And on these 2 CP maps, it's quickly to you need to regroup yourself quickly, or else you have situations like that, where they're just able to roll from point 1 to point 2.
And there, if you can't hold that ground in between point 1 and point 2, and you're gonna let the team get all the way to the second point, it's gonna be very hard to compete as a defense.
Oh my god, and here we go. We see the TP strap by Symmetra as they're already pushing onto the point, and they are establishing themselves onto the point here as we see Wolgaard just trying to stall them out for the rest of the team to get settled in. And it's gonna be enough. As we see 2 picks coming out, we see a 3rd pick coming out, and they're not going to take the first tick. A great response once again by Drexel. I thought there, that was a great teleporting spot, putting it right on the building, getting in the back line, but Drexel with the response there to not even give up a single tick.
And that was a strong push by UIC, and I know they discussed that in that little round break, and that's exactly what they wanted to do. They would have loved to have that first tick, but Drexel just being so strong in how they are as a whole team, able to hold it down.
As we just see a mean play by Optimal, solo ulting Phoenix, just trying to establish that second fight win already, with Vulgar finishing up another 2, and Optimal finding another pick. This is all, Optimal and Vulgar just going kill for kill, just picking off their team single-handedly.
And right there, you saw Phoenix as Wrecking Ball trying to get in there, just couldn't get the right amount of momentum and get into that wall. He's trying to push up hard. It's just very hard against Optimal when you're trying to fight one-on-one with them as Farah and Wrecking Ball.
As we see Sky Raider already get a pick on their Zenyatta, and this is going to be another rough situation for them, as just player after player keeps dropping for UIC. Jazzwing and Mucky both going down, and this is just another cleanup situation for Drexel, as they are just coming in and just dominating on Hanamura. They had a kind of a hiccup in their first game, and now they seem to be in the driver's seat.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. They're just doing an absolutely stellar job at holding the ground, as it seems like UIC is trying to find an answer just to get around their strong defense, as Drexel has 4 players ready to ult at any moment, and UIC is on the ropes and on their heels and just can't find an answer at the moment.
And as we see that 5th ultimate already built, and Optimal with the pocket going to be able to build their ultimate quickly, as they're already at 75%. As this team fight is developing, we're not seeing any pressure on these 2 DPS that are just raining down from above. We're not seeing quite the response that we would have really expected on Optimal and Vulgar, as they are just they're having free range on these high grounds. And Mucky electing to go for the far and immediately taken out by Beru. What a hook to see there to absolutely shut that play down.
And that's the type of plays that you like to see from UIC at this point in time. They don't have very much time at all. And even though Zenyatta knows time is not real, it's running out in this point in time.
That is very true. And as Greed switches over to McCree, McCree's going to be one of the stronger characters to help with this high ground dominance of Drexel here. And we see all the ultimates pouring out into this fight, as both teams desperately want to win this one. And it seems like Drexel once again gonna be winning the battle of the ultimates here, just with the more ultimates here. But we have 2 on point, and they're we got 1 bomb coming out, trying to find someone, able to find a pick here, but I don't think it's gonna be quite enough, as there's 3 people here. Actually, I may have spoken too soon once again, as it's now a 3-on-3. As we see Greed coming into the point, as getting a stun on Vulgar and having them to reset. And here comes the Mercy trying to come in again, but it's just Optimal coming in and just landing kill after kill, body shot after body shot. It's just not going to be enough, as another great hook by Beru comes out. And this is just UIC trying to fight it off, but Optimal with another ultimate, just getting another pick on the Mercy. As it's just Mucky on the point, and it will not be enough, and it seems like Drexel taking the 2-1 lead seems to be in the driver's seat today.
Oh, I'm just watching the screen at the moment, and I'm enjoying myself. That was just absolute overall great gameplay by Drexel. Obviously, Optimal has got to come out with this play of the game, and it's coming down here around the end of it when they're contesting it. Almost got that 1 tick, being able to hold it up just a little bit longer. But Optimal, just way too strong. He's going to be able to take over, and you just can't compete with a team that's going to be that in sync and be able to hold you at your front door. I've got no words on that one other than that was just absolute stellar gameplay by Drexel University.
You see Optimal just landing body shot after body shot on the far, just absolutely dominant right now. But, one of the credits that we haven't gave to is, kind of the rest of the team being able to hold it on without their mercy. And, they are holding it down themselves, and they are getting these targets really low for Optimal to swoop in and just finish them up. And Drexel is just playing as a complete unit here as they are just rolling after these last two maps.
And you are exactly right. We are kind of missing out the rest of the team. Walgard, Beru, Walgard, and they're all just supporting each other. They're playing to each other's strengths. All ults might not be going out at the same time as you'd expect, like a Zarya bomb with Hanzo's dragons going at the same time type of thing. But at the same time, they're going to be working together. They're back and forth. They're battling each other. They're taking on one-on-ones, and they're able to hold their own when it comes to a one-on-one matchup. And they were just not letting UIC back into the backcourt and not letting them get a chance. The one chance they had was Phoenix as Wrecking Ball being emu to get that point, and then Deadly Emu as D.Va trying to get in there and fly in there, and that just could not hold the ground as it got to the end of the round.
I completely agree. Drexel, we have to mention Barrow's hooks there. That was that hook on Echo, who just changed to Pharah, was just disgusting, as they just absolutely hooked them right back out of the sky as soon as they changed. And just a little bit of drop was just enough for Beru to sneak in there and just reset that right away. Just absolutely taking out that ultimate that can be so costly for, Drexel if that continues. Because not only can Farah land one ultimate there, but if they build it quick enough, they could actually get two, and really surprise everyone and get a lot of picks off of that 2-for-1 deal.
And you are correct on that. Beru coming in as Roadhog for the majority of that fight. In that round, it was Roadhog's hook just in the first place is a very scary thing when you see it coming at you, because there's a lot of damage coming from his weapon right into your headshot. So from there, it's a battle for life and death whenever you're on the defensive side of a Roadhog one-on-one.
Oh, trust me, I have a lot of nightmares over, those types of hooks. It's just not a fun time ever being in those grasps and just seeing that big burly man just standing right in front of you. It's just never a fun time there.
I agree with you. Another one I want to point out is whenever Zenyatta comes out, Zenyatta has the highest damage out of all support players. So being able to take 3 headshots from a Zenyatta and still being able to move around is a very good play, a very good move, especially for a squishy and for another damage or support player.
And as we see here, going on to Blizzard World, we have Optimal switching on to Echo, as they elect to stay off the Pharah for this attacking round. We see a nice defensive setup from Phoenix and Deadly, going with the Sigma and Wrecking Ball here, as they just look to divide and conquer their team and just try to find an answer for them. As Wolgarid already finds the pick on Reaper, and this could be dangerous for UIC here. As they push in quickly, and the bombs, they are just raining down like it's the 4th of July, just finding pick after pick, and the rest of the team swooping up and finishing off that damage, and it's going to be another Drexel team win here.
There is nothing really more to say than Drexel is playing great team Overwatch, great team capture. They've already captured this point, and they still have 5 minutes remaining now. UIC just cannot get off their heels. They got to find a way to get around onto the defense or onto Drexel's offense and kind of hit him from behind and at all angles and take out more than just one at a time, whereas Drexel keeps taking out UIC 2, 3, and 4 at a time.
And, one of the most underrated players right now, I would say, that we have actually not mentioned at all is Sky Raider. But, if you're doing your job as a support and just being able to keep the team alive, you don't really get mentioned too much as a support. And, that's kind of the downfall of being a good support. As we see a great dodge by Sky Raider, who is in the middle of that, able to use their bash to get out of Sigma's ultimate. And, being able to stay up and keep this team alive for Drexel can just completely sway this team fight. As we see them move into the slow room over here, we see a Creed switch onto Tracer and just try slowing them down in any way possible. As we see Phoenix establishing the high ground, trying to get this pick on Bulgarid, but isn't able to find them, and the ult comes out onto the point to slow this all down. As we see Deadly Emu just coming in and just trying to finish them up. And it looks like UIC has found the correct answer and is just coming out swinging now.
And that was a great defensive stand by UIC, and they're still pushing hard. They still got a lot of fight in order to hold this Drexel team. But at the moment, they took out Optimal and they took out Sky Raider, and those two players together, especially with Sky Raider being the support that they are and being able to hold that ground, it allowed Optimal, it allowed Wallguarded, Beru, it allows all of them to be able to hold together and get their ults all together, as there's 3 really cooking. They're cooking 2 at the moment already.
As we see both support ults out, you know, Drexel's trying to break this one wide open as Drexel's investing heavily, and they're able to find a pick on Mercy. And we see a great answer by Greeds here as they just try, you know, anything possible. And here we go with the response. Even though that they had 2 down to start this fight, they were pushing back hard, and they're able to find the pick on Sky Raider. As they just keep pushing back, this is a very back and forth. Mercy's able to get the res, and that is going to be ultimately what sways this team fight. As, you know, Drexel, who almost seemed to lose control of that team fight after all the ultimates came out, regains control and is going to be able to push this point into the second point here.
And that was a good defensive stand by UIC, just not able to fully get around the corner and be able to hold Drexel, as they had a couple players come back. Optimal switching to Tracer now and is able to actually back to Sombra. So switching to 3 different players this round, and it's a very big thing to be versatile, especially in this type of play.
As we see, Sombra can be a very devastating pick, as they already elect to hack the D.Va and just causing chaos on this backline, already finding 1 pick and just trying to keep going. But it isn't gonna be that Optimal Sombra that makes a difference here. It's actually gonna be Greeds. Greeds landing a couple great hacks there, finding the picks, and the UIC able to win, you know, just in a way of having more people up, getting 2 picks there. You know, Drexel getting a quick regroup and finds the pick on Volgar, and he won't be able to make it out. And Volgarid's ultimate shut down by a well-timed Greeds ult. And here they come swinging. UIC showing all the life they can and showing they're not going to go down that easy. And they get the hold that they've been needing this entire game.
And right there, that was just ultimate good gameplay. Greeds as the Sombra versus Sombra, and being able to let that hack out and turn off the lights. For Drexel, able to shut down the defenses, allowing Zenyatta's ultimate to come in as it comes out now to help out.
Barry trying to go for a nice D.Va bomb EMP, but you know, UIC saw it coming and able to reset themselves quickly. As we see Phoenix being hacked over here, going with the one-on-one, now is regrouping to the end. We're gonna see the response by UIC after they invested 2 big ultimates there. And UIC is going to be able to, I think, to stall this one out as they get Beru out of mech again. And they are just going all out here. As we see, you know, we haven't seen Dive come out this entire time. But it seems like both teams are going Dive heavy here and just trying to find picks, as Deadly Emu finds Optimal Shot, trying to sway this right back in their favor. And it seems like they are going to get it that way, as Phoenix able to find a pick on Nasty and Greeds once again. I feel like we've been saying his name this entire rap, as Greeds finds another pick to really help win this fight.
Greeds is going to be the one to stop Drexel at the moment. Sombras just by themselves are very, very meticulous and detailed people, and they're going to be able to hold themselves and hold that ground, being able to hack, especially some of the bigger people, wanting to hack, especially a Mercy or Diva or that Winston or even that other Sombra is going to be a very big benefit to UIC at the moment.
Yes, as you know, UIC is just trying to stall this payload out here right now as the ticker has just gone over 50 seconds. We have 45 seconds left in this one as Phoenix finds another, and Vulgaire does a nice reset to get, you know, his ammo count back up to 6, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be effective as UIC immediately pushes them back around the corner. We see here both support ults from Drexel just coming out trying to save their team as they realize this could be the last push as they won't have much ultimates here. They have Optimal Shot and they have Vulgaire, but you know, they have a great answer and UIC has 4 ultimates to play with here.
And I believe Greets gets that ultimate out right in the perfect time with as many people as possible as they do right there, and they're just gonna send them all out.
And here they all come as both teams desperately trying to get the upper hand here, and Mucky just getting pick after pick. There's 2, and Mucky taken down by Sky Raider as the bomb comes onto the point, and a well-timed ultimate by Vulgaire, but not able to stay alive long enough because Spark Rush coming in with the damage boost, and just Phoenix and Deadly Moo just trying to clean this one up, and it's just getting all hectic as Greeds is now going after their backline, trying to find anyone else. Greeds has forced to retreat, but Optimal finds a hack on Phoenix. And now Drexel's able to grab a couple extra feet here, and every foot here is, you know, a necessity for Drexel as they want to make this harder, as they know that they are going to be with the chance to win this series right here. Phoenix is able to finish up Beru, and UIC is trying desperately to hold this up as Jazzwings going in for an absolutely insane res, and that is going to help the entire team fight as Optimal is going to get a touch here, but it won't be enough. What a res from Jazzwing coming in off the side and just, you know, absolutely bringing that back in their favor.
And I could not have been able to see as much as I really wanted to because there was just so much action going on everywhere you look, behind the wall, on the point, back at the starts. And I mean, with one person went down, another 2 on the other team went, and it was just a back and forth battle there to the very end. It was a very good use of all those ults to really get the ball rolling for UIC to stop them before hitting that 3rd point. They were around 89 meters there, and it was just an overall great defensive stand. Couldn't get it really started with the first initial capture of the point or at the first pit stop, but it was a very, very great timing to get UIC to really group up, get together, say, all right, we need to lock down. Greed switched to Sombra and was able to just hone in and lock onto all those different players. And just the ults there at the very end and being able to take out 5 of the 6 of Drexel's team, that's what sealed it for him.
And I'm sorry, I'm just still in absolute disbelief by, you know, the audacity of Jazzwing to come in and just pop a res in the middle of the team fight, in the wide open. Just, you know, personally, I wouldn't have gone for it. I would have been, you know, just a little too hesitant on that. Jazz just coming in with no hesitation and just switching that team fight in a heartbeat to stop the payload right then and there.
Takes a lot of guts, but now Drexel's got to go on the defense here, and UIC's got a little bit of momentum, and they just got to play with it now. They got to roll.
Absolutely agreed. As we see Wrecking Ball and Greeds back in their backline, trying to find a quick pick and trying to get their team able to push up quickly. As we see Greeds having to back out, kind of leaving Phoenix there, being chased down by Optimal here. Deadly coming into the rescue here to help out and gets the pick on Optimal. Deadly absolutely raining down, just coming into this team fight and just taking control of this by themselves. Deadly is just absolutely raining down from all areas and now getting the pocket by Jazz as they look to try clearing it up, but Drexel is not going to go down without a fight here. as Phoenix is going into the backline, finding that last pick on Wolgarid. This could be where we see the end of that fight, as I may have spoken too soon, as there's another res and they're going to be able to touch here. But we see Phoenix immediately going back to work, throwing out the ultimate, trying to wall them off from that point, but Optimal reestablishing themselves on the high ground, and Deadly immediately back in that and helping them throw in right into Phoenix's bombs. And that is going to be the team fight there.
And that's exactly what UIC needed in that round. They needed to get back in this fight oh so badly. They have so far to go, 89 meters, in order to get this win for this round and put them back in this fight. Otherwise, Drexel is going to walk away with a big win here, and they just can't have that right.
I told you, at the start of this broadcast, we told you that you would be in for a good one here as the bomb goes up, and they got the play that they wanted. Phoenix lifting them into the air, but a great high field to save the day. An absolute amazing play coming in from, Deadly and Phoenix, and just shut down by Skyraider as they come in as their own, as Optimal gets the pick here, and they get 3 picks here, and Optimal absolutely changing this fight. But we have to go back to Skyraider, just saving them with that eye field. They saved at least 3 to 4 people in that fight, and then Drexel just came out swinging on their own end.
Skyraider in there as Baptiste, and he's kind of one of the underrated healers, or underrated support players on this team, but as long as he gets that disc out and he gets his it's that left trigger and gets those bombs and those healing orbs as well as that regen, it's gonna keep helping his team no matter where he's at. He doesn't have to keep shooting as long as those defensive players and the DPS players and tanks are healed and ready to fight. He's doing his job, and I think that's what the benefit of support players are.
And we see both Reses coming in, able to bring it in, and it's going to be Bob on Bob violence here as both of them come out to play. And Greed's finding another pick there on Skyraider. This is going to be able to push him back as both Bobs now drop. We see another change by Optimal onto that Wrecking Ball, and those mines are going to be able to stay up for a bit. But, absolutely just dismantled by Mucky with that well-placed dynamite, able to just remove them all. Mucky is now looking to try doing some damage here as they try to establish themselves on the high ground, but Optimal is not having any of that, forcing them back to recoup. As now we have Phoenix going off in the back line, and Optimal just not letting them escape. Just showing no mercy on Phoenix there.
And right there is just a good team play as they're just going to keep battling it back and forth. Obviously, UIC keeps pushing and is going to keep going far as they can. As you saw with Jazzwing getting the res and being able to hold it down and get Phoenix back up and back into the fight without having to wait.
And we see a very well-placed EMP by Greeds, but not too much follow-up from it, as it seemed like the entire team was kind of separated itself. And oh boy, we see a lot of ults coming out right now, and it's Optimal once again coming in with the cleanup. But we gotta mention Beru's ultimate there, being able to grab 3 of them and just separating them from the rest of the team, where they're not able to follow up on Greed's EMP. Greed's had 5 people in that EMP, and, UIC not able to follow up on it because Beru, one of the only player that wasn't in that EMP, able to grab the back 3 and separate them. And we see Optimal coming in, just finishing them up.
I think Beru's ult there, being able to send 4 of the 6 back to base and taking them out was a very good stop. And now it's moving the payload backwards. With that Orisa Sigma combo, it's going to be very, very hard for UIC to kind of get back on the foreground here, especially since Drexel has that high ground.
As we see Bob come out to play on the high ground, and Optimal not really able to find anyone in that ultimate, but able to readjust the entire team to have them back up once again. As the timer is now under 60 seconds, we're going to need to see a UIC push here that just absolutely just dominates here. But Bob able to find a pick on Mucky, and it's just Drexel coming out and just finding pick after pick, as Wolgarid once again finding another 2 picks there as they get the pick on the Mercy and another DPS there.
30 seconds remaining.
And honestly, this is just great defensive play by Drexel. They have the high ground. They have the shield. They have two shields up there with their DSP. Plus, they have their healers, and it's just now we gotta get a big push from UIC here within the last 10 seconds. Otherwise, this game is gonna be completely over.
We see everything coming out now as UIC desperately tries to win here. And we are seeing everyone just trying it. Mucky Poo gets a finish on the bongo. And they are pushing hard down the middle on those mines, just trying to get as much space. Phoenix is going in the back line, trying to find a pick on the Mercy. Optimal, able to finish up Greeds here. And we see a great Diva Bomb coming out to play, finding a pick on Optimal. This is going to be great as UIC looks to keep pushing this. They have to stay on the cart as they're being pulled off. Deadly comes back to touch the cart. And oh no! Baru coming in, getting a pick on Deadly, and able to pull them all off. But UIC able to respond, and as they keep getting pushed off, they keep trying to keep this touch. Phoenix and Ash are the only ones left. But now we got a touch by Greeds. Greeds down, and it is going to be Drexel taking the win here, folks, in a nice 3-1 series.
And that was overall great gameplay from Drexel, especially in the last 3 rounds. I can't say anything better about that team. Just overall great defensive pressure and offensive pushes that could not be matched by UIC. UIC came out very strong in that first round, was able to take the point very significantly and with a chest puffed out, so to speak. But they just couldn't hold it for the rest of the game. All 3 rounds straight for Drexel, and it was almost by a landslide in that last one, not being as much by a landslide, but definitely the middle 2 rounds for Drexel just couldn't be matched, couldn't be tamed, and Drexel earned this win today.
Drexel definitely did earn the win. Their ult management, I think, was the key to this game, as we saw it come out at the end, having every response for UIC that they threw at them. And just the ultimate building, which was another big process in that entire series, is we just saw, Drexel's DPS just constantly having their ultimates as they had that pocket, and, just the other healer being able to keep them all alive, keep the other 5 alive, the other 4 alive, pardon me, just being able to single-handedly keep them alive as, Optimal and Baru able to build their ultimates as quickly as possible. As Mercy was just going around pocketing player after player, being able to build their ults, and we got to see that at the end as Drexel just coming in with every single answer there to UIC.
UIC had a very strong push there at the end of that 4th round, and it was a great push towards the end. Just couldn't be matched to Drexel's ultimates. And I feel like the one person that that obviously is gonna have to take the cake is Optimal, the pro in the team itself. He came around in the 2nd and 3rd rounds as Farah and just dropping bombs and leveling the playing field in Drexel's favor and making it a bumpy road for UIC on the drive home tonight.
I completely agree. Optimal just coming in guns blazing as soon as that switch to Farah came out. And I feel like, it kind of was held back a little bit on that first map. And, it felt like more of like a waiting out period. But UIC able to capitalize off that first one and being able to get a lot of good pushes in there. And these 2 teams most likely will be running into each other later on in the collegiate series, as both of them are around the same skill level, and this could be a future matchup waiting to happen.
And I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a very, very good college playoff series coming up within the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks. And these 2 teams are going to have a lot to fight for. Drexel getting the edge of UIC today after a little bit of a chill period, kind of a feel it out in the first round. Almost a little bit of toying with them. Like, okay, we let you get a win. We're going to take it from here, and then ran with it.
I absolutely agree. And there's great plays by everyone there. We also have to mention Spark Rush just absolutely being able to, you know, just command those points. And we are going to be treated to one more game of Lijiang Tower as oh, my bad. I lied. That is my bad. But, just an absolute great series by both teams here today. And, I'm very glad to be joined here in the booth by Hunter here, and I'm just glad to have you here today.
All right. And that's all we have for you in the studio this evening. Remember, if you want your scrimmages automated and maybe even get airtime like these guys here tonight, make sure to head on down to www.champira.gg to get started. Be sure to follow Champira on Twitter and TikTok for all the latest stream updates. My name is Hunter Onge. You can find me on Twitter at WProducing.
And I'm Michael Hansen, and you can find me on Insta at Mike63Hansen. And thank
Have,
you once again for joining us tonight.
have a great night tonight. Thank you to all our viewers. Goodbye.